Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the lesson for Where the Streets Have No Name by U2. Alright, so this is the intro section right here. And first, let me just play it for you, and then I'm going to explain both the rhythm section of it, which is done on the synthesizer, but I'm doing it on the guitar using my looper pedal. So you got the rhythm section, and then you have the lead section, which uses some delay tricks. Okay, so I'm going to explain both of those things to you and exactly how I do those. Alright, so first let me play it for you so you can hear how it sounds. Okay, so I know that didn't sound exactly like the song because the rhythm that I was using was I was just recording some chords, which are actually the same chords that the synth is playing in the song, but I was playing it on guitar using distortion and some chorus as my effects. Okay, so it's not going to have that exact synth sound what I was doing, but the delay trick is accurate to the record. So I'm going to explain both of those things. So if you're interested in learning the chords that are done on the synth, then this is what they are right here. Okay, so first let me turn off my distortion here. Okay, so the first chord is simply just a D major chord. Okay, so I'm playing it up here. Alright, so that's the top half of the G shape. Okay, if you know about the caged system, I have a free lesson on the caged system. Okay, so this is the top half of the G shape of the D chord. D chord in the G shape, top half, okay? And of course, if you're watching this from the website, you have the chord diagrams on the screen, so you can just follow the chord diagrams and see exactly what I'm playing here. If you're on YouTube, just do your best to follow along and try and mimic these chords. I'm going to do my best to explain it without the chord diagrams. Okay, so the first chord is D, and then the second chord is a D major 7. Is all you're doing is you're sliding from the 10th fret of the E string, and you're just coming down and you're playing the 9th fret, okay? You're playing the same chord, but just that one note is getting lowered, so it's going, and then down to a D major 7, okay? Now the next chord is, this is a G, and he's adding the sharp 11, and it has a B in the bass, okay? So I know that might sound confusing, but if you're familiar with the C shape of a chord, okay, so here's your G here, here's your C shape, that's a G chord in the C shape, okay? So just playing this note here on the 10th fret, that's your G, okay? But the lowest note of this chord is taking place on the D string, okay? So that's a B, so this is still a G chord, but it's a G with a B in the bass, okay? So that's where the G/B comes in, okay? So it's not a G chord, or it is a G chord, but it's a G with the B in the bass, okay? So G, taking that away, you still have the same chord, but now your lowest note is this B, so it's a G with the B in the bass. But you're adding the sharp 11. So the sharp 11 is here on the 9th fret of the high E string, okay? So it's, you hear how that's a distinct tone? Okay, and then the next chord is you just remove that, so then it just becomes a G with a B in the bass. So it's a G add sharp 11 with a B in the bass to just a G with a B in the bass. Okay, and then the next chord is just a B minor chord. Again, you're only on the high 4 strings, the D, G, B, and E string, so it's a B minor chord. Alright, and that's just the top half of the full B minor bar chord, but you're just playing the high 4 strings. And now it goes to an A sus2 chord. Alright, so that is like this. Okay, so in order you have the D, the D chord, to a D major 7 chord, to this G, B in the bass, add sharp 11, remove the sharp 11, then it's a B minor chord, then it's an A sus2 chord, and then once the bass kicks in, it's back to a D chord. Okay, so those are the chords that are played on the synth. Now you can play these chords down here if you want. It won't have the same sound, obviously, but you know, you can still do a D here, and then you can do a D major 7, and then you can do a G, add sharp 11. You're not going to be able to get the B in the bass if you play the G chord here because the B is down here. So, I mean, I guess you could, but you would have to really stretch your fingers in some weird ways. But you can still get a G with the add sharp 11, and then remove the sharp 11, and then you can do a B minor. Alright, and then you have an A sus2, which is basically just an A chord, but you're lifting up your finger that's on the B string for an open B string. And then back to a D. So you could play the chords down here, but I think it sounds more like what the synth sounds are doing if you play it up here, okay? But again, this is all played on the synth, so if you happen to have a synth available to you and you want to practice it over that, go ahead, but you know, we're just breaking this down for just the guitar for now, okay? So that's pretty much it for the rhythm. Now the thing is, you want to kind of listen to the rhythm of where these chord changes occur at, okay? So the chord changes always occur on the 1, and this intro is in a 3/4 time signature, okay? So it's 1 2 3 2 2 3 3 2 3 4 2 3 5 2 3. Okay, so the 1 is every 3 notes, okay? So 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, okay? And so if you want to listen to where these chord changes occur, it's right at that point is where the bass starts kicking in, okay? So that's it for the rhythm. Let's get to the lead here now. The lead is very simple to play. It's just you're playing the basically just playing on a D chord up here. So you're 10 on the high E string, 10 on the B string, 12 on the G string, and then 11 on the G string. So all it's doing is going. High note here of the high E string, that's always occurring on the 1, so it's okay, so you see how every time it was the 1, I was up here again on this note. That's the indicator of the 1. Alright, so now what he's doing with the delay trick here, I learned how to set this up on my particular pedal. I use a Boss GT100 processor pedal, which has all kinds of effects in it, including delay. So I learned how to set my delay effect to this by watching another video on YouTube, which I will post a link to as well, so in case you happen to have a GT100 pedal, you know, you can set it up the same way. But I'm just going to explain roughly how it's done, because if you have a different type of delay pedal, you know, you can still basically do the same thing and just, you know, use your own pedal. Alright, so basically the way this is done is Number one, the song is written, or I have this set at 120 BPM, okay? It's in 120 BPM. I have my, I have it so I can set the BPM of the delay by hitting a button, okay? So whatever I hit the, whatever the tempo of the song is, I can hit the little BPM button to do exactly as I want it to do, okay? So I have the BPM tap set, okay? So I'm basically just setting it to 120 because that's the tempo of the song, okay? I have a metronome going. I'm just tapping to the same thing as the metronome. All right? And then I turn the delay, instead of having it set to some sort of milliseconds, I have it set to dotted eighth notes, okay? Dotted eighth notes. An eighth note looks like, kind of like a quarter note with a little tail on the end, okay? That's what an eighth note looks like. Dotted eighth notes. And then I have my feedback set to 0. Alright, so let me get in here. So, feedback set to 0 just gives you one echo note, okay? If I had my feedback up more, you would have more echo notes. Or I could have it around 20. See how feedback, it gradually fades out the note? Well, I turn my feedback all the way to 0. So it just gives one echo note. And then I have the effect level at around 100. The effect level is how loud the echo note is, okay? So if I really want that echo note to be super loud, see how it's very loud there? I don't want that echo note to be that loud, so I have it set at about 100. Okay, you can, that's really just a matter of preference. The important part is the dotted eighth note, delay time, dotted eighth notes, and the feedback set to 0. Okay, so effect level out around 100. The delay note is slightly louder than the original note, but it's not too noticeable. I could even turn that down a little bit if I want to. Alright, so you can use those same principles on whatever type of delay pedal you have, if your delay pedal has the option to give you dotted eighth notes, okay, and to allow you to tap in your, allow to tap in the delay, okay, to the BPM, and that's pretty much it. That's the principles of how this is done, and all delay pedals pretty much have a feedback knob, so you can always turn that to 0 to just get one slapback note. So here's the difference between without delay with delay. Alright, so you see how that really adds that effect there, okay? So that's all that is. It's dotted eighth note delay. It's giving it that galloping effect. Alright, so dotted eighth note delay. Again, link to the video of how to set it up exactly on the GT100 pedal if you happen to have a GT100 pedal. If not, you can always use exactly what I said to do. Dotted eighth notes, feedback down to 0, set your BPM to 120, and tap in the delay to exactly what the BPM metronome is telling you to do. Alright, so with that said, let me just play this one more time over the rhythm. And if you're watching from the website, you're going to have the tabs and the chord diagrams popping up on the screen as the changes are occurring, okay? So let me do that for you. thing I forgot to mention is the it kind of just changes once you're at the once it gets to this chord, once it gets to that A sus2 chord, and it's about to change to the D, it changes to just going. So that's 10, 10, and then 12, and it's just going 10, 10, 12, 10, 10, 12, 10. So it's not doing this anymore. It's just going. Alright, and then when the D, once it gets to the D chord, then you just move that note from the 12th fret of the G string down to the 11th fret. So it's. Alright, so it's pretty simple. You'll hear it in the song, and it'll just feel right to do it. You'll feel exactly where to do it. Once you're playing along with the song, it'll be very obvious. Okay, so that's basically it for the intro section. Okay, you got the delay, you got the synth chords, and then you have that one part where it's just once it's at the A sus2. Alright, so that's it for the intro. Now we're going to get to the rest of the song. Alright, so now for the verses and the choruses of the song. Okay, so the rest of the song is pretty simple. Okay, we already went over the intro, which is the tricky part in my opinion. Now the rest of the song is pretty much stuff you already know, with the exception of a little bit of lead stuff that goes on in the chorus. Alright, so let's get started with the verses first. So you can still keep this delay on. You know, the same delay we were using before with the dotted eighth notes, same as in the intro. And pretty much he kind of just hits this chord a lot right here. Basically this is this D chord up here. But you put your pinky down on the 12th fret of the G string to make it a D sus4 chord. You're just adding the sus4 because the third is here. You're just kind of hitting the next note up, half step up, which makes it a sus4 chord. Okay, so a lot of times you'll hear like little, alright, and things like that, and he keeps going to this one high chord, and it's the same chord over and over, and that's the chord it is. It's that D chord, but with the sus4 down. Alright, and with the delay on, you can just kind of, knowing what the chords are in the rhythm, you can kind of just play chord tones at any point. So there's a D. Let me just go through the so it's. Okay, so it goes from D to G, and then it's a B minor, and then it goes to an A. All right, and then it goes to a C. That's where he's saying the streets have no name. Back to the D again. It's kind of a double verse before it goes to the chorus. But as those chords are occurring, you can just hit chord tones. Okay, so as the D is occurring, you can kind of just shoot for roots if you want. You know, you can either hit this D, or you can kind of hit individual notes of the D, or all right, same thing with the G. We already went over all these chords in the intro section. You don't have to know these chords exact, but you know where the G is. Okay, so you can focus on hitting that G as the G's occurring. Just kind of listen to the song, and when you throw delay into the mix, it just kind of gives it that that spacey sound type of thing. But basically, what was I gonna say? Oh, and when the C chord's occurring, that he's doing this. Just that D sus chord. D, put down the sus4, lift it up. Okay, so I'm gonna play this whole thing. I have it looped in my my loop station. I have the verse, and it goes right into the chorus. I don't do a double verse. I just do a single verse, just to demonstrate how to fit some of these things in, and then I go right to the chorus. All right, so that's pretty much it for the verse. Okay, you're just kind of just knowing what the chords are. Listen to the chords. All it is D, G, B minor, A, and then it goes to a C. Alright, so now for the chorus. The chorus is basically the same type of thing. It's got the D in it, it's got G, B minor, A, alright, and it ends on a D. But he's doing this over top of it. He's doing Alright, so that's your chorus right there, okay? Basically, is all that is again, that's the lead of the chorus. That's the, I'm going to play this all over my looped rhythm in a minute. But basically, yeah, is all that is it's starting out with a D chord, but instead of playing the D with your first, second, and third finger like you're probably used to playing it, you're actually just barring the second fret, the three strings, the E, B, and G strings of the second fret, and then putting your second finger down here. Still D chord, same notes, but it allows you to get your pinky up here and then get your third finger down here, and then so basically all it is pinky on the 5th fret of the high E string, and then your third finger on the 3rd fret of the high E string to the D chord. So it's going. And then once it gets to the B minor of the rhythm, or the bass note's a B, but it would be a B minor chord, then it switches. Instead of playing a D here, you're actually doing the same thing, but you're kind of playing on a B minor chord, okay? So right here, if you know this B minor chord, it's part of the full B minor, but it's just the E, G, or the E, B, and G strings, okay? But it's still in the same 5, 3, 2, okay? So basically, there's your B minor chord, but you're not starting on a B minor, you're starting here. So your fingering is going to be a little different. So the way I like to do it is first finger, 3rd fret of the B string, second finger, 3rd fret of the G string, and then this gives me pinky on the 5th fret of the E string. Lift up your pinky, then you're there for the 3rd, and then you kind of switch it all up and then go to this. Okay, so that only occurs on the B minor. Okay, that only occurs on the B minor. Then once the rhythm goes to the A, which is the next following chord, then you're back to the D shape again. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the chorus. All right, it's pretty simple. I'm just gonna kind of play this. I have one verse and then one chorus looped on my looper pedal, so I'm just gonna play the whole thing, and you can kind of see how it all fits together. It doesn't start out right away with the verse. It starts out with the it's just kind of building up on the D. This is assuming that you're coming right out of the intro of the song. Okay, so this is gonna sound like this. Okay, and those clicks that I'm doing there, those muted strings, I'm just doing 16th notes. It's 1 E and a 2 E and a. Okay, I think that's actually going on in the actual song. The guitar since it's not really playing anything at first, he's just kind of doing muted strings at 16th notes like that. All right, so that's pretty much it right there for you know, how it all fits together. You have the verse, and then it goes into the chorus. During the chorus, it's doing the you know, it's doing that thing. During this, when the C is occurring, while the streets have no name, it's doing this. Okay, and then during that space where there's no singing, right before each verse, it's also kind of doing that too. And as for the rest of it, you know, you just kind of put that delay on, that dotted eighth delay, and just kind of add little notes in there, add notes of the chords, and just kind of, you know, just kind of. I don't think when they play it live, I don't know if anything's actually written to that. Okay, I think it's just kind of go by feel. All right, know the chords, know the underlying chords, know the feel of the song, know how the delay is programmed, and then just kind of take it from there. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the verse and the choruses, and then you have the outro, which is basically the same as the intro. I'll show you that real quick, and then that's it. Alright, so here's the outro section of the song. Now the outro is, as far as the lead is concerned, it's pretty much identical to the intro of the song. Okay, it's the same rhythm, it's the same delay, the dotted eighth note delay, all that stuff is the same. The only difference is the underlying chords that are going on, the rhythm chords. And again, these chords aren't anything new that we haven't already played in the song. All it is you're just it's the chords are moving in a slightly different manner. Okay. So basically it starts out, again, we're in 3/4 time signature, so it starts out with this D chord again for 4 counts of 3. Then to this G over with the B in the bass chord for 4 counts of 3. Then back to the D chord for 4 counts of 3. Again, G with the B in the bass. B minor chord for 4 counts of 3. A sus2 for 4 counts of 3. Then it ends on the D chord and the song fades out. Okay, so let me just show you how the lead sounds going over top of that rhythm, which I have stored in my looper pedal with the metronome set to 120, 3/4 time signature again. Same thing. Then once it gets to that, like I said in the intro, once it gets to that A sus2 chord, you're not doing this anymore. You're kind of just going. Okay, and you want to switch from the 12th fret to the 11th fret once you're on the D note. Okay. Okay, pretty nothing new really, just slightly different modification of the rhythm section, and that's it. So that's the whole song. If I left anything out, or if I went too fast with anything, or if you don't understand anything, just message me, leave a comment, whatever. I'll do my best to get back to you and answer your question. All right. So thanks for watching.